All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is Tuesday, April 30th, 2024, last day of the month. Glad to be with you this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. Make sure to hit that notifications button as well. We're trying to get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers. That starts with you clicking that button. Thanks again. Let's go and get started. Dow futures are down 170 points. The Nasdaq's down 85 points, with the S&P down about 0.42%. The Russell's down about 1%. 10-year Treasury yields up at 4.661. Dollar index is up 0.42%. That's hurting commodities this morning. Silver's down 3.5%. Gold is down 1.67%. Copper's down 2%. Eyes up on Freeport McMoran. Gasoline futures down about 0.5%. And crude oil at least is green. So that's good for my energy stock longs. Taking a look at the VIX, 2.79% to the upside at 1508. As you know, tomorrow is the FOMC meeting committee. That's the Federal Reserve Committee on Interest Rates, Central Bank Policy. We'll hear from Jerome Powell, the chairman, tomorrow around 2:30. At 2 p.m. will be the rate decision. Again, I don't expect anything to happen in terms of a cut or a hike. It'll just be where it is. And that may be just the major mystery, at least. But the real difference is the press conference where they start asking questions to Jerome Powell. And that's pretty much what we're looking for. So today, again, I wouldn't expect tons of action just for the fact that we may get some positioning ahead of the Fed. But what's standing out today, obviously, with yesterday's move, we're going to get started with Tesla. And Tesla's pulling back this morning. Tesla is down about 3%. We did have some headlines, but at the end of the day, when a stock goes up about, I think yesterday was up about 17%, 18%, you're going to get some kind of a cool off period. It's just natural. And I know the first question we had today, this morning at 8:56, and thank you for watching the YouTube channel, is Tesla low for the day and price action through Friday. So taking a look here, see this blue line here? That's your 100-day moving average right there. So that seems to be that resistance. And remember, I said that Tesla would move higher, and that's what I was looking for in terms of post earnings. We did trade it, obviously, before last week, and then we had that pop. So anyone who had runners went absolutely ballistic. So a great move all around. But now we have a downside gap, 171.90. We are now trading at 188. That gets us to right around here. Pretty much at this low point on the daily candle, at that point, the low settlement point. 180, or now we're below it. So what I'm looking for is this 50-day moving average to tag, which is 175.56, then get closer to this gap fill. And once we do, that's when we'll see if Tesla can actually hold this trend line that we broke out of as our new support, and then continue the trek higher and revisit that 100-day. So back to it. I actually wrote this down as a signal for masterclass at 12:45 p.m. Again, we have the 175 puts, so we'll hit them this morning and take some profits. But I also put it on the live market blog as well. So take a look here. I mentioned this yesterday at 12:49 p.m. Starting to hit our head on some resistance here on Tesla. 18% gain in one day on this mega cap. Come on, it needs a breather, and we have a gap to fill below. This is when it was trading at 195.54 on Tesla. We sent out that put. We are now trading at 187.85 this morning, as you can see, pulling back. So getting near the gap fill. That's what I expect price action in terms of Tesla. I'm the type of person, when it comes to our members, I want to make sure that they get their profit. So masterclass, just take it, move on with your life, leave a runner if you like. But the gap fill, yes, is the target. Masterclass be holding out. Well, again, it's a reversal trade. It's not, try shorting a nice move higher, but it was a good trade. But we did trade Tesla last week anyways. Did you hold any options for Apple or Amazon earnings? Now, Amazon reports today. I believe, is it today? Let me make sure. Make sure I have exactly what earnings are coming out, team. Earnings. We have Amazon after the bell. We have AMD. We have Supermicro, and we have Starbucks. Apple is on Thursday. So let's take a look at Amazon. And did we close above? Okay, so we need to get above 183.52, my opinion. If we can get above there, then the 190 calls would be the target. Below one, actually, what's below here? We do have a gap to fill here at 174.03. So there's your downside risk. What I shorted here, it's tough to call. Amazon is more, I'm more neutral on Amazon than anything else. AMD, I'm a little more bullish on. That's coming up today. So my expectation here on AMD is this downward wedge breakout right at that 100 on the 4 hour. Let's look at the daily. This would be my target, 165.71. We're about a dollar away. 161, excuse me, about $4 away. So this would be my target right there for AMD. But again, downside wedge breakout. If we can get above here, here's your main target, 177. Again, when trading earnings, it's very risky. Understand that. I'm not going to trade AMD before the print, but that's the price action that I'm expecting. We can pick up the pieces later, like we did with Tesla when they had their earnings last Tuesday, and we traded it last week, and we made some nice profits. Let's see. Thank you. You're welcome. Oxy. Let's take a look at it. Oxy, I have an alert at 71.19 for a breakout. So that's what I'm waiting for. We're at 68.18 at the moment. So I would just wait for that. Thoughts on PayPal calls? PayPal, I believe, filled. Well, it didn't fill its daily gap. It's trading at 71.16. It's right by that daily gap here at 72.20 or so. So basically, that's what I'm waiting for. This price action wasn't surprising. I just didn't want to go ahead and send an earnings trade. So now we got that gap fill. What's next? Let's see what would be the next move on PayPal. Get above 76.61. That would be pretty wise to keep that level there so you can target the let me get out of this. Cancel. It was on the watch list too, but it didn't break my alert ahead of time. If we can get above 72.20, I'll zoom out again right here at 76.83. You need to get to 82. So let's use 76.61, place that alert here, and then 82 to right around 85. There's a gap to fill here on the daily. Check this out right there. So that'll be our next target. Just target the gaps. Again, gaps do not have to fill, class, but it's important to keep an eye on. So this one will fill. This one has filled. And then once we break above 76.62, that'll confirm at least this break point of the highs of August. We can take a look at 85 or so. So don't feel like you have any FOMO or anything. It still has a lot more to prove. Up 71K the last 3 months because of you. Follow all your levels with Target and Tesla. Oh, nice. Nice. Congratulations, Emotion Evoker. Great. Great stuff, man. I'm very proud of you. That's exactly what I want to see. My followers and our members making money. That's really just the goal. Lilly's earnings thoughts. What's funny about Eli Lilly is that I think they missed on the bottom line on profitability. They didn't have a double beat, which is a top and bottom line, revenue and profits. I have to look back and see exactly at their earnings. Give me 1 second. Let's see. We are on Eli Lilly. And it's funny, me and Masterclass had XBI calls, and XBI has a big chunk of Lilly in their ETF, but yet XBI isn't up, which is interesting. So we got that yesterday for like 35%. But in terms of Eli Lilly, let's take a look at the 4 hour. Yeah, you got to get above 800. You're not there yet. Eli Lilly, in terms of their earnings, I'm still looking it up here. I think they reported early this morning. Here we go. $2.58. They beat on adjusted EPS. Revenue was a miss, 8.77 billion versus 8.93 billion, but their guidance, their fiscal year adjusted EPS was better than expected. So that's probably why you got the jump in the stock. 42, yep. Revenue and EPS guidance was stronger than expected. But something called Mounjaro, I assume that's some kind of drug, their revenue estimates or the revenue came in lighter than expected. So we'll use 800 as our breakout point. Again, pretty much at all-time highs, rather redundant, not much to do here. The IV is going to probably be juiced since we just had earnings. So we'll see if maybe the premiums will adjust. but I can't say that I trade this one often. So I'll keep an eye on the options volume out there and see if we get a chance to trade Lilly. But really, until it breaks 800, there's not much to do there, in my opinion. If anything, you're expecting it to go higher with this great guidance. Apple, I'm a little heavy again. Yes, I do have Apple calls. It did break my alert, to be fair. It was part of the watch list. So the idea is not to have any prejudice or anything like that. No passion or prejudice. They're just numbers on a screen. Let's be real, guys. Downward trend here. You can see, again, not perfect, but we can use that. Kind of a double top there, possibly. Very closely. Double top here. What I'm looking for is this trend line to be our support. And again, we broke out of above 173.83. I am long heading into earnings. Earnings are on Thursday. So what I'm expecting is that with tomorrow in the Fed, maybe we get a little bit of juice higher, or with a strong Amazon report, some kind of way that Apple gets a little juice, or we get closer to around 177.03. This may be the level where it rejects, but 177.21 is what I am looking for to get out before the earnings report, and then I'll let the runners do its thing. Still good to get an FCX. Yes, I still like FCX, but copper pulled back. So this is something that we hit yesterday, and I got back in because, well, it's a really great setup with really great volume, and it's not at all-time highs yet. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how much more can we go? You're right around $60 is probably your next target if copper can go. The only issue is that this may be a little overbought. Fair enough. The good news is that we have plenty of time on this one. The last trade we had for FCX was for May. This is for what we have is for June. So you see on the daily, we're starting to bump our head on some overbought conditions. We're way overbought on the weekly. On the 1 hour, again, looking like we're pulling back in terms of RSI. So again, depending on your point of view. Again, I don't use RSI often, but again, it's important to look at once in a while. We'll go ahead and remove this study. And you can see, based on the 1 hour chart, see 5218, I marked that for a reason. That's pretty much that point of breakout, of the breakout that we had, then we pulled back. So again, if we think it's going to be a double top, we cannot be above 5118. Once we break above 5218, in my opinion, this is just a sneeze at the end of the day. Again, we played the downward trend breakout very nicely twice in 2 weeks, actually. So getting some selling here, maybe very similar to that Tesla, a little too high, a little too quick on the move higher. So again, staying patient, get me above 5218, and we're back at the regular schedule programming. Worst case scenario, we're probably looking at a retest of this downward trend line, which gets you to right around 49.45. Worst case scenario. Thoughts on SPY today? I don't expect much for SPY, just for the fact that tomorrow is the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee regarding the interest rates. So this could be just a positioning day. Guys, understand that, on the daily, we're just slightly above the 20-day, which is still a bullish indicator, but we're still below the 50. And that's something I talked about 2 weeks ago, where I stated that let's not get too excited until we get above the 50-day. We're knocking on the door. Could we have the Fed give us that little nudge since earnings have been rather strong? Relatively speaking, we're still missing Amazon and we're still missing Apple, of course. Meta gap fill at 409. I don't think it filled that gap yet, but it could. And it rejected that 100-day. So if you wanted to short Meta, you got to use 437 as your stop. And then your target here is 401 if you were looking to short. It did fill, technically speaking, on the hour on after hours action, but it still has more downside action to go on Meta, in my opinion. I think you stay short if you wanted to here. 401.16 is the target. If you wanted to play upside, 452 to 472. Thoughts on our BAC calls? BAC, again, the banks still looking for the breakout, pretty much consolidating, not much going on. So with that being said, what I'm looking for is the Federal Reserve tomorrow to give us some kind of hint on any kind of rate cuts in the future. Now, this will affect banks. So again, I'm still bullish on the banks. I'm still bullish on energy. I think we get higher on Bank of America, just get me above 38.61. We're actually setting up for an inverse head and shoulders on the 1 hour. So as long as we hold at least the neckline here, or the shorter line of around 36.75 or so, I think we should be okay, at least in terms of technicals. So stay above there. We should be all right. I put this yellow line here to show us the last breakout point we have on the 1 hour. XOM. Exxon was moving higher earlier. They just got price upgraded by, I think it was HSBC. Let me make sure. Who upgraded the banks? Okay. HSBC upgraded Chevron to 178 and ExxonMobil to 120. So that's their price target for the next 12 months. Not exactly confidence building. Again, short term, not much. It's down a couple cents. In terms of the daily, nothing has changed here. We're still kind of above where we kind of want to be. I'm still waiting for 120.67 to break, and then that thing's going to go. Anything else here? Anyone else here? Questions? Google. Got a downside gap to fill. May be time to short it below 166. Again, great company. Actually, cheap company. Let's go to below. Once we break that, we have a gap to fill here at 160, 161. So we'll just trade that if we break down below. We're at 168 currently. If we break 166, this is a great setup for a short. Right there, buy some puts right there, 160, 115. That would be my target. And VLO, which is Valero, another earnings play, 172.44 needs to break. That's slightly above the 20 right now. Again, with energy, it's basically flat. This is all Chopsville. You can see why. Crude oil is down about 0.11%. And that's where we are. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and give everyone the pre-market plan on Discord. I will see you guys tomorrow for the next morning note. Have a great rest of your morning. See you then. Cheers all.